So yeah, thank you for having Sareth-Fest at the Blo Back Gallery this year. It means a lot.
Thank you for coming, wanting to come here.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Got some new eyeballs here that hadn't been here before, and that's what I constantly try to do.
Big time. Yeah, the first night was a huge shocker for me with 13 Plagues.
Yeah.
I was talking to the band members like Matt Herrera, and he was like, yeah, we were just announcing a soft opening, and then like this whole place packed out on the outside. And nothing crazy happened pretty much.
Yeah, it was like, what do they call that? People just pile in from all over the place, and what's that called? It's kind of a, not new age, but it's like a kind of new phenomenon.
Oh, like a flash mob.
Flash mob. It was kind of like a flash mob for that band. You know, suddenly it's just packed with people.
Indeed, I was so excited. I was like, I didn't expect it. And they were talking about it on Facebook, their Facebook page. Like, yeah, all the people that showed up were your clients at the tattoo shop. And so you'll see James's tattoos on all those people that showed up.
Right. That was impressive.
I agree. So we'll definitely have them as a headliner next year. Take me on a journey of your art career.
Let's see. I won a pumpkin decorating contest when I was in 3rd grade. And my father was an artist. He didn't start to paint. He had a small advertising agency in my hometown of Elgin, Illinois. And he didn't start to paint probably until I was maybe 12. And then he would paint on weekends, and he was doing this thing called the Freedom Series. And I was the first painting that he did was called Teenager. I didn't know until much later that his art bases and titles were from Time magazine articles. Him and my mother read Time magazine from front to back every week. I think it's full of propaganda, but anyway. So Teenager was it. That's the baby boomers, and I'm a boomer. So then he started to paint kind of seriously. You know, every Sunday he would paint, and he got probably about 14 or 15 pieces. And he had a show in my hometown of those works. I have them all. Some are in the container across the street, some are in my house, some are in another storage area. And so he just led by example. He didn't tell any. I have 3 siblings, and he didn't tell any of us, you know, what to do and the direction to go. In high school, I was in industrial arts, and it had a bit of a wood shop, and it had a really nice metals facility. So I learned how to weld, and then the curriculum was kind of published, and this is what you need to get your grade. And I'd always do it in about 2 weeks, and then I started making art. Sculpture, furniture out of metal and some wood, and I eventually went to the Chicago Art Institute, and I went back to visit my parents for Christmas or some holiday, and I went to the high school, and the teacher was still there, and I looked him in the eye and I said, thank you, you really kind of helped me because you didn't direct me, and you let me be free and do what I wanted to do, and I really appreciate that. I think he got a little weepy, but yeah, he really helped me go forward in kind of the direction I wanted to go. Let's see, so in 1979, I started a custom architectural millwork company after leaving the Art Institute and being a sculptor in residency at Downey VA Hospital in North Chicago, Illinois. I take the train from Chicago every day, and we would make sculptures out of really cool materials that were on the grounds. And that kind of, I did probably 4 monumental pieces of sculpture out of various steel. There was a boiler, and it was at least 6 foot high on the ends, had radius ends, and I asked the people who were demoing it to cut certain places, so then I took those and I welded those together, and one of them had a viewing portal. It was an ellipse, and that was at the end, and then there was 2 railroad rails that were being supported by 2 vertical railroad rails, so it was at an angle, and I took that big round piece and welded it towards the top, and the angle was like if it broke loose, it would probably go into the administration stairs and then up, but we wouldn't really, but it was kind of in that direction. And that was great, and then I joined a construction crew with a friend of mine who was the boss, and it was made up of artists, sculptors, painters, and a couple of theater people, and we just had the greatest time doing projects. Then that led into starting a custom architecture millwork company. We started with a single kitchen, and then after 10 years, we had 55 union employees, and we were doing work all over the country. And then Desert Storm happened, and I had a lot of bids out, and that we were going to get those bids, and we didn't get any of them. And as it turned out, the construction jobs I was doing, they really put the slow pay on us because they didn't know what was going to go on with the world, and you know, the Desert Storm, and is it going to be a war in the Mideast, whatever. So then after that, we went bankrupt because we were very slow paid. We were doing a job at 1 Park Avenue in New York City, and there's lots of change orders, and the contractor was really quite evil. 3 other companies went bankrupt just because of slow pay. You know, who knows why they did that? It sucked. Let's see. So then we went bankrupt. Then I got a job at the Chicago Merchandise Mart, designing very high-end kitchens and baths and some other things in houses. And I did work all over the country. A lot of work in Chicago. It was great. I really hated the building. There was no natural light. I'd go and work in the winter, and it'd be dark out. I'd leave, it'd be dark out, so I didn't experience like daylight for the whole winter. And in Chicago, it's very dark and cloudy, and especially in February, you don't see the sun. And I just said, I gotta leave. So I moved to Durango, Colorado in '95 as a manufacturer's rep for some really high-end cabinet companies around the West. And I discovered that in Durango, there was a lot of people moving there with money, building really nice houses. I aligned myself with 3 architectural firms, and so they just, you know, spec'd me to do their kitchens and baths. So it was great, and then I wanted to branch out, so then I designed some houses, and some really nice houses, and I designed my house and built it, and that was kind of like a showroom, so people would see that work, and then they would train me, and then I had a partner a little bit later, and then they would just retain us to do some really nice, I mean, world-class contemporary houses. I moved to, so Durango got a little too much the same. The people seemed to be cut from the same cloth. And I don't know, I just kind of got bored there, and I wanted to do more art. And it's a tourist town, so you need to do kind of Western art, and that's not what I do. So I decided to move to Pueblo after doing this drive about for about 2 months. I started in Phoenix, Tucson, and then I went east on 10, Marfa, and then I started to think about, well, the weather it sucks, you know, it gets really hot and humid in the summer, and I don't really respond to that too well. I can handle heat, but I don't like humidity too much. I had a friend in Durango, and she was the senior class president at Central High here, and so she's about 10 years younger than my wife and I, but she would tell stories when we'd have dinner together about Pueblo. A couple stories each time we met, and go, it seems kind of interesting, okay, and it kind of, I would never live in a town that doesn't have a river. I was an avid fly fisherman, not so much anymore. And so I did this drive about. Pueblo was like the last place on the list before I go back to Durango, which is about 5 hours from here. And I started to look at actual, you know, listings in real estate offices, front windows, and I go, wow, prices are really cheap here. And so I started to drive around, and I would come here like once a week, have appointments for different buildings that were generally commercial, but with the potential to live in them. Had a contract on a building on Abriendo, the Mr. Vacuum building, 168, inspected it, and it needed literally everything. I know that's way over, you know, my budgetary allowances, and whatever I was going to do was to get no debt. So, there was a hoarder that lived in there, and she wasn't going to leave for 6 months, and so I just gave her a much lower offer. She didn't take, and I just raised my hands, and I had a touchdown. I got out of that one. So I kept looking, and then I ended up looking at this building in this area because I like its proximity to downtown. It's right off the highway, on and off. Figured I could do some sort of signage on the roof. I did do that, and the city made me take it down, but it just said art in 10-foot letters, and you can see it from the highway, and you can see it from Santa Fe, and that's the nearest road here. And I got people off the highway during COVID, and it was cool. And then they just said, "You got to take that down, and you violate the sign code." So it was a bummer. It's laying on the roof. It's ready to go back up whenever I want to either get hassled by the city or get some sort of permission. I don't know. And then I started, when I bought the building, I worked on my studio first. It was the first place that I renovated. I put in some skylights, demoed a drop ceiling, put in a really nice insulation and drywall, cleaned it up a lot, put in a bathroom, took out a bathroom and put in another one in a different place. And then I decided along narrow space, which we call the OG Original Gallery. Could be a good gallery because I had friends in Durango, and they had a gallery very much shaped like that. And they did really good business. And so I then I did the gallery, and then that was open for about 2.5, 3 years. And then I had a tenant in the big space, and he decided to leave February of 2020. It was right before COVID, which we had the lockdowns in March. And like, what am I going to do? So I advertised, and the only people that were interested in renting it from me were body shops. I live in the building. I wasn't going to resonate with the noise and the odor. So I stopped looking, and then I rehabbed the big space, which we call Blo, and that's where we had the event Friday and Saturday. And we have music here, and we do performance art and poetry readings. There's open mic night, there's life drawing. I try it to be a community kind of portal. And there's been wedding receptions and birthdays and graduation parties here and that kind of thing. But we do have music kind of scheduled out in the future, and once I kind of get my legs underneath me, I might, after I get the liquor license, if I get it, then that might actually enable me to make a profit on the place and make more sense, and I'll be able to pay bands more. And so I just have to be a friendly neighbor and try and be respectful of my neighbors as much as I can.
Big time. That's what happened last night. Was I was bummed to see, like, you know, the neighbor was like upset that there's people in front, and so we'll definitely get a sign up there.
Yeah, I have some ideas. So I'm going to put signs so they can't miss them when they go in and out, even out of the gate. The outside kind of patio will be much nicer. I have a irrevocable permit application into the city to be able to put in enclosure, and it would be 6 foot high, so it'd be private from people driving by. There'll be nice sunshade above it, and it'll be concrete, so it won't be as sloped. It will be smooth, and then that we'll be able to control access and exit. You know, like if the bands are on a break or something, I know that from other places they don't let you leave and come back, and I may do that just to prevent kind of what happened last night. And our occupancy is 260 people, which is quite large, I think. And so I can have 33 people outside, but people can mill around in other places in the building. I can put tables there. Yeah, I think I can control it enough to keep my neighbor happy. And then maybe instead of them entering from D Street, maybe they enter from the very front. And we can control that, and noise can be there, because I think Blo Abortion's going to play here, and I think it will be the biggest show we've ever had, is my guesstimate. And the prices for tickets are cheap. I think I might do the front entrance, and then they line up so they can make all the noise they want out there. Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking.
Check out the artwork and buy some in there and everything.
Yeah. You know, people come in here, and a lot of Puebloans don't really have never been to a gallery. They think they need to behave a certain way. They need to dress up or something, and they don't have to buy anything either. To me, it's just about getting new eyeballs in here, and those eyeballs will talk to their friends, and then it will grow. But I am so surprised by how many people that come here have never heard of it, even for your event. You know, I talked to a bunch of people, like, wow, this is really cool. I didn't know a thing about it.
Wow.
I know, and it comes all the time. I probably get now average about 4 people a week that were going to either Fox's Nursery or ABC Plumbing, or just going to the Star Bar, driving by, and then they have enough curiosity finally to come in, and they all say the same thing. They open the door, the first thing they say is, wow, this is really nice. Oh, your art is really great. And then they turn the corner, and then they go down the OG gallery, and they go, wow, this is big. I go, you haven't seen anything yet. And then they go down the ramp, and then they see the between space, and then there's another gallery that has a lot of my art in it. And then they go into the big gallery, and they go, wow, this place is really huge. I had no idea. So, I mean, curiosity is a good thing for humans, I think. Yeah. You get rewarded with seeing new things. So I just always try to shepherd them around, give them like a personal tour, and you know, not be a pest and not be like a salesperson, but just like I'm just imparting knowledge.
Indeed, and that's what I love about this place, how everything folds and makes rooms for more people, and it's just a cool, like, I don't know, like a maze you can just customize.
Right. It is definitely evolving, and it is spoken to me. You know, this is what it said. This is probably the best use of the space and the place. All of the work I've done in renovations and things has either been just by Social Security or art sales from time to time, and then people coming into events. And that's it. I refuse to get in debt.
Indeed. That's no good.
That is slavery.
It is.
Yeah.
Trying to pull myself out, but luckily I don't have any student loan debt, so that's.
Well, Biden might, pardon you.
Oh, I'm good. My dad took care of college for me.
Oh,
So,
that's good.
yeah. He had the restaurants up there on 4th Street, and it's no longer there. But I worked for him when I was like 9 years old, being a dishwasher, to now, or 18. And so he didn't. He goes, "I'll pay for your college instead." I'm like, "All right, that works for me." So.
And you went to CSUP, or what was it before that?
Yeah, CSU Pueblo.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a lot of fun, but my degree is useless. Like
What is it?
As mass communications, Center for New Media, but emphasis in broadcast journalism.
That's what you're doing right now.
That's true.
There you go.
But like at the end of like senior seminar, they go, "Well, you're gonna have to do this because you love it, because there's no money in it." And they told us like the last semester. I'm like,
Well, that's what they always said that. I went to Pima Junior College out of high school, was there a year, and then I was a ski bum in Summit County for a year. And then I went to SIU, Southern Illinois University, for just a semester so I could get my portfolio together, because my intent was to go to the Art Institute in Chicago. And that's what I did. So.
I love Chicago. I've done stand-up there many times. I got picked up for the Annoyance Theater up there.
I don't know it.
Oh, it's one of the most amazing venues. Like there's like a small theater and a big theater. And I did like a showcase at a pub once, or a bar. But the last time I went, I wanted to do just open mics to see what it was like, because I skipped that part.
Right.
And it was amazing. Like there was one called the Power Hour, and it was in the bottom of the Franklin D. Roosevelt VFW. And there was a live band that played everyone up, and everyone had like 4 minutes to tell jokes. And it was just a beautiful city to stand up in.
Yeah, I don't regret spending the time I did in Chicago. It was about 10 years going to school and on that crew at the VA hospital, making sculptures, and did that. Then I was on the crew, and then started a company, and reason we started the company was that my two partners had MFAs from the Art Institute. I didn't get one, and it was to create a studio so we could make art. Well, the business just blew up. It just got larger and larger. And like I said, after 10 years, we had 55 union employees, and it was just out of control. Kind of glad it went down, because, I mean, I suppose I could have sold it if it was successful, but anyway, the economy kind of kicked it to the curb.
Big time. It's just like a roller coaster.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed my time in Chicago. I learned a lot about architecture. We did work for some of the best architects in the world. I learned a lot from them, just looking at their plans, looking at their final designs, how they did their plans, and that kind of helped me in the future when I was doing architecture in Durango.
I don't think I've ever been to Durango, but you know, the architecture in Chicago is just.
It's the best. I mean, it's a combination of, there's a lot of Louis Sullivan and famous architects, Albert and Root, going back to the 1800s. Like the first skyscraper was by Louis Sullivan. And then it's just the urban fabric is awesome, because you have these very modern pieces of architecture with the old, and it's just the urban fabric, and they just kind of go together quite well. I mean, I really enjoy the dichotomy between the old and the new.
Big time. And it's so easy to get around with all the trains, and they have their public transit system like.
It's pretty good.
Oh yeah, oh, it's definitely. There's some crazy folks on there, but other than that, it's not
Yeah,
too bad.
yeah. The only time I ever kind of got accosted in my life, he didn't hit me or anything. He kind of grabbed me, on my collar. I was waiting on the Belmont Avenue L stop, and he was just kind of aggressive, but he didn't do anything, and then he just screamed and walked away. And that's it. I don't really have any friends that ever got mugged or anything.
Indeed.
But it's probably worse now.
Possibly.
Yeah. I mean, the South Side is like a murder capital of the U.S. Right up there, 1 and 2 all the time.
Big
It's
time.
crazy. Yeah.
Susan Wolf.
I know Susan.
Yeah.
She's played here a couple times.
With her big old.
Yeah, her cello.
Yeah, cello. If I got to cover Pico at the Greenlight when they played the Sareth-Fest a couple years ago, and she took me to the. I stayed in Lincoln Park at the getaway hostel, the getaway hostel, and so it was like pretty much a block and a half. She goes, "Let's go to the Bourgeois Pig," and that food was delicious.
They got such great restaurants. I miss the restaurants there. Really, really miss them.
Big time.
Yeah.
I took a comic out to this. I have a comics show called Hold the Tomatoes, because I'm allergic to tomatoes, and plus people throw tomatoes at you if you're bad.
I'm doing it.
Yeah, I'm glad no one threw tomatoes at us last night or the night before. I take them out to their favorite mom and pop shop. It was like a Mexican restaurant that opens till like 3 a.m. or something. And we talk about life, comedy, and why they chose a restaurant, why it's their favorite food. And I told Donovan is his name, and he wanted to know my background of like LA and everything, and why Cabrini Green was so important to me. And so he took me on a tour of Cabrini Green, what's left of it.
Isn't there just one building left?
I think
I mean,
so.
the last time I was there was probably in 2019. We went in the city, and I think there was just one. And I lived at Halsted and Randolph for about 6 years in a loft. I mean, what a fabulous deal that was. First 6 months were $125 a month, and then it went up 10% a year for 5 years, and I renewed the lease for 1 extra year. And that was like $250, and it had free electric, and yeah.
That's pretty neat.
It was, and I could lay in bed, and there's these I built the floor up because I put storage underneath it, but from the floor to the head of the window was framing Sears Tower, and we could just see it get hit with lightning just laying in bed often.
Wow.
It was really cool light show.
That is pretty neat.
Yeah, we're just kind of up the street from Greektown. And that whole Randolph Street is probably the hippest and the highest concentration of restaurants and bars in the city, I think. it goes out for like 2.5, 3 miles, and it's what it is. I mean, when I lived there, it was just like Greek vegetable markets, Isaacstein fish market. There's several flower markets, use restaurant equipment, just little markets. There was a butcher. I mean, they actually process them kind of in an industrial way.
Speaking of Greek and like, what I love about Chicago is like you can go like a different block and hear different languages.
It's very much like that. I mean, Lithuanian Village, the Germantown was like on North Lincoln. There was a lot of Polish lived in an area, and now it's even, you have Thais and Koreans, and so they live kind of in uptown. There's a concentration of Korean and Thai, those Asian restaurants.
I was shocked to learn to like know that there's like not a lot of Cambodians up there. There's like a donut shop and like,
right,
and then a very expensive restaurant that I didn't want to go to because I'm like, I'm on a budget here.
Right.
So, oh goodness, but it's not. And then again, it's like not Long Beach or like Lowell, Massachusetts or nothing like that. So even Florida doesn't have a lot of Cambodians.
Got that.
But it is what it is, But yeah, how are we doing on time? So we got like.
That says an hour 32.
Oh, that's how long we've been talking?
It couldn't be possible, because maybe I didn't reset it. I mean, there's no way we've been talking because you got here right around noon, so
yep.
Just pretend we started at noon.
Okay. I think that works for me then.
Okay.
Should we go 8 more minutes or would you like
So it's up to you.
Oh.
I think we probably
for sure.
ask me a question.
So what did you think about how everything turned out last night?
I think it was great. The format, like you said on Friday, is maybe you had the comedians first, and then the band that had up the draw second.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. But besides that, it was great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep, I learned from last year at Cody's place, that's your train through bomb shelter. It's like, all right, put the musicians up because they're louder, and then end the night with stand-up where it's quieter, so we don't make the...
Right, the neighbor.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when you told me about your neighbor, I was like,
Yeah.
we gotta...
I think his neighbor's worse than mine. I think we can learn to live together. At least I'm hopeful.
I hope so. I'm hopeful too, because we deserve, to let our art shine. Was there insecurity last night? Or?
There was Friday night. There's this old guy, Bill Foster, those are actually his tents out there. He just lent them to me.
Oh, nice.
He's happy to leave them there, and they actually help with the shade, and actually it rained a little bit. There were people just hung out there. They didn't get wet, so that's cool. But I'm definitely going to have security on the bigger shows for sure. And then I'm doing, some, I guess, bluegrass, folk. A bunch of solo performers are coming through, and I don't have to worry about those guys at all.
Oh, that's good.
It's just the big shows. Need to put out an effort.
I was worried about the last 2 nights, and usually nobody fights or there's like no violence or anything like that. So at the fest, because people are so respectful, it's like,
Yeah.
that's what I love.
I feel that a lot of people that come here regularly, they have a lot of respect for the place. And if somebody was breaking something, they would stop them. I know they would.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I feel that's our community, and it's just the other people. I don't know, the neighbor said that somebody threw a bottle in the lot, Ryan McWilliams, Johnny's boiler lot, and I went over there and I didn't see any sign of it, but when he opens up on Monday, I'll take a walk over there and see if I see anything, but possibly true, possibly false, not, I don't know.
Indeed.
Yeah.
We gotta soap in here, and we'll definitely need some security next time or something.
Yeah, it's just basically to keep people away from them. And generally, I didn't find any new litter.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so people are conscious of that. But Pueblo is a litter capital. I see people littering. I just see them littering, and I stop and yell at them, "Please pick up your litter." And they go back and pick it up.
That's good.
They don't give me the finger.
I love Pueblo. No matter like, the news always says bad things about us, but like some of the best cities that have violence to a certain level are beautiful.
They have a lot of creativity and pockets of community, and I'm not afraid.
Me neither.
Fear is a mind killer,
That's why I come back for like 12, 11 years. But I was come back home and just.
So next year will be number 12.
Number 12. Yep.
Okay.
It's gonna be. I kind of want to do like a full circle moment and have one at the downtown bar for like the singer-songwriters, and then here for like the big bands, and then the bomb shelter for the comedians.
Yeah, there you go.
People would get so exhausted.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. Like last night we had 6 people, and I was hoping to we had fun with the improvised stand-up, and hopefully I didn't scare you too much with my stand-up. And
Oh, dude. No, I'm not a snowflake.
Awesome.
I totally believe in freedom of speech.
Awesome. That's why I had to ask first, is this a clean crowd or a dirty crowd? And they're like, we're
I
dirty.
can say do whatever you want to do. It's on you. And if people don't like it, they can just leave,
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be so, anyway.
But it was just fun time doing stand-up here. It's an honor. And I just love doing an art gallery. I've seen many of my days, and it's this one is the most unique one ever.
Yeah, it's kind of real fungible, what we can do here. Do you know Bob Marsh?
I do.
Did he perform with Susan at Sareth-Fest at the downtown bar, wherever you did it? I don't know.
Yep.
Okay.
I believe so, because her whole Pico was all there. And I have pictures from, because I write articles for each one, so I'll send it to you. So
Cool.
You'll see
Cool.
everyone that was with Susan on
Yeah,
stage.
Bob's a buddy. Yeah, I was in a performance art group with him called SCAPE, Spontaneous Combustion Art Performance Ensemble.
Wow.
Matt Taylor, Matt Reffick.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so he was in it, and a couple professors from CSUP and some other people, and we performed in Lakewood, we performed at the library, and we actually got paid to perform, which is amazing. But that's fun, and I don't know, I'm not that comfortable doing it, actually.
Oh.
Sometimes I get over it, and I'm a nut, and it's okay, and then other times I'm like a little too staid and afraid. I don't know. So, if y'all want to see about Blo Back Gallery, it's blowbackgallery.com, and that's our website. There's a lot of work on there. There's work for sale. We put our events up there and other things, and then we have Facebook under Blo Back Gallery and Instagram. My daughter does that. And you interviewed her on Friday. I got to see that. And you can buy art online.
Absolutely. So go to blowbackgallery.com, and I'll put all the social media links on our website on the description box below, so people can just go and check it out and subscribe to all that stuff.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Jeff. Thank you. It means a lot for being my guest and opening the doors for us.
Okay. Thanks for wanting to come here.
Thank you. I think I'm the only one. Have you signed the banner yet?
I did. I signed it right after my name.
Oh, cool. And I'll sign mine too.
But that sticker is not sticking that well. When I give it to people to put on their vehicles, I say you got to clean it really well and then just rub the hell out.
I'll go with the alcohol and stuff.
Well, this isn't a dirty banner,
What do you think of the artwork?
It's great, and so what's his name? Starts with an M, last name?
Charlie and Paul.
Charlie, yeah, we had a chat with those guys design it, but that's cool. He goes, I have art by the gallery. If you want to have a show here next year, show me your work, and we can get you on the schedule.
That's pretty.
And he would couple up with some other people that do work similar.
You did an excellent job.
Yeah.
And this is our gift to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So.
I'll put it over there
Okay.
for now, and just put it up there. If we change it, we need more gallery space. Put last thing I take down.
Awesome.
Okay.
Fantastic. Okay. The Blo.
BL.
Awesome. Blo Back Gallery, we love you. Awesome.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Jeff.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Good
Appreciate
stuff. I appreciate you and
So, let's put an open sign here. All right, you're good?
Yep.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jeff. This is the front entrance to Blo Back Gallery, and I'd like you to go in the bathroom here. And view the mirror. I did that a year and a half before COVID. So I put a shower in here when I renovated because I was thinking that bands, when they are poor, they can't afford a motel. So they sometimes stay on my stage. I have a really nice deluxe blow-up bed, and there's a shower.
Awesome. Great stuff.
There you go. Okay. So we have like notices, and it's metal doors, so we use magnets. This gallery is called OG, Original Gallery, and so it opened in December of 2017 with a solo show of my work and a couple of my dad's pieces. And we've had basically shows every first Friday since. We even did it all through COVID. We had 2 openings at the beginning of COVID, and the only people that showed up were the artists. Anyway, I tried. So I'm trying to get a liquor license, so if you see this ramp here, this is one of 5 ramps that I had to put in because there's elevation changes between rooms. And this building probably had 5 additions over the time. My studio is that was built in 1940, and then they added on, and probably the last edition was probably the late 60s. The artist that's in this is Vincent Fink. He's from Houston. He won Best of Show for last year's Truth Show for this piece right here. So it's interesting. So before his show, we put up a single piece of his art. A woman came in and bought this before anything was put up. And that's the first time really good news like that has happened to me in regards to art here. There's only one person that sold out a show, Megan Wilbar. She's very well known in Pueblo. Her dad's a sculptor too. So Vincent is, I like Vincent a lot. He's an interesting guy. This piece also sold before it was even put out. A person saw it on a table and said, I'll take it. My workstation, it's always been here. It'll probably always be there because you can be working and somebody comes to the gallery, you can just look down the front and see them and meet and greet them. All the work in this gallery, the next one we're going to go into, and then is by artists who have had a show here or are going to have a show here, except for maybe 2 pieces. Another ramp. Let me show you this door. So the artist's name is Paul Renfrey. I have some examples of other pieces that he's done, but he moved here about 14 years ago from Boulder, Colorado, at Middle Block. Anyway, so this is, he had a photograph of a German crop circle. So he carved that on one side, and this is all dark mahogany, black mahogany. And then this other side is more like Aztec influenced. And then he added this trim on the outside at the beginning of this year to kind of trim the outside. And he does custom doors. He's done a lot of them for some super high-end homes in the mountains when he lived in Boulder.
Awesome.
We call this space the between space or the bar. Again, when I have my liquor license, the bar will be expanded a little bit, we'll have better refrigeration at any rate. So there'll be a couple stools for people to sit. This is all art by people who have had show here or are going to. This space is called Blo, and I did this, and I did my first kind of performance here, and there was a noise performance in 2019, and it was just all block, no drywall, really chromy light, really ugly floor, and a bad heater, and then it had a 10-foot garage door right here. I filled that in and put in those new glass doors and another ramp, and I had to put in exit signs and a number of other things. Here's that interesting piece. So that's all shadow, and that glass is etched. So it's just cast the shadow on the wall. That's part of the truth show, and that in this room here is all, there's, I think there's 39 artists and there's about 120 pieces of art of all different kinds of medium. And walls move, so last night when we had the performance here, we opened up the walls on both sides. And for DRI, we took the walls down to open up the space, and I have a storage place. There's two of these columns right here, and the chair or the tables, the walls just go right up against the wall. And it's like no one would even know they're there, and you can use that for art surface. Had to put in 2 ADA bathrooms, drinking fountains. There used to be a big window here, and I had to block it up because it's within 10 feet of another structure on the other outside. Bathroom. This space in here, it's very similar to Big Blo. It's about 3 feet less wide, same depth. I had to put in a door, a window, and another ramp. Awesome. And another bathroom. Here's the stage. We had a different soundboard, and now we got a kind of digital soundboard, and you could walk around the room with it and then tune the sound. Outside here is about a 550 square foot patio, and that will be nicer in the future, but the plan is to get all the artists that show here regularly and pose them against the wall, photograph them in their pose, all be there at one time. Some arms will be behind and forward, and people will take whatever pose they want, and then I'll transfer that to a DWG, which is a CAD format, and then that can go to my friend Eric McHugh, who has a 5-foot by 10-foot plasma table, and we'll trace all the outlines of everybody, and then that will be cut into the steel. And you'll be able to see through a little bit, but still want it to be kind of private. So that should be really cool and memorializing my favorite artists in Pueblo.
Indeed.
So the artists are from all over. I'd say the majority are from Pueblo, for sure, but there's, I don't know, 4 artists from Denver, a number, like 3 or 4 from the Springs, La Vida. I'm on some boards, and I started Pueblo Film Fest, and so we meet in this room regularly when we have meetings, and a lot of the work in here is mine. Give you a little quick tour. What size t-shirt do you wear?
XL.
XL? I'm gonna give you a shirt of your choice.
Awesome.
So I did this neon in 2015 for a show that I did in Durango. I did these woodblock prints, and there's other woodblock prints spattered about in that other room. I had to put in this metal door, And so these metal pieces are mine. That's just a print of a woodblock print. This is kind of an older piece. I had a client in Durango, and he was a radiologist, so he gave me a stack of x-rays. So I made a number of different pieces of art out of x-rays, and that's the only one I retained. This was, these 3 paintings are from Woody Martin. He lives in Evergreen, Colorado, and so this was last year's Truth Show. He did a really nice piece for this year's too. This is kind of my feeling on pandemic. This is kind of a rant. This is Chase and Repose on litho plates. It's just very thin aluminum plates that's photosensitive on one side, but there's a way that you can get that relief with a stylus. So you just draw on it, draw on the other side, and then it changes dimensions. So this is all railroad rail parts. So this rail had 1903 stamped on the side. The railroad yard is kind of like a block away. Spike caps, and these are called rail stabilizers. And that's what keeps the rail tied to the railroad rail also, the tie. This is a sculpture carving by Paul Renfrey. He's the guy who did the doors, to show you. This thing here is, it's a moire pattern. So if you look at it, I call it, gives you the hoopty schnoopties. I mean, it's kind of like, you should go in front of it and show it to the people.
Go in front of that.
Well, I can do it from this side.
On this side.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, yeah, as you move, it moves, and it has this pattern. And it's 2 pieces of 16 gauge perforated steel, slightly offset, just like maybe 1/8 of an inch. And so that's why it gets that. And you can adjust that to change the pattern. It could be bigger or smaller. So this is just stuff that I found. Kind of brutal. This is a, get right up there. This is a 12 gauge double barrel shotgun with a mirror behind it, and it's called Face the Truth. Came up with the saying, if there was money in peace, there would be no war. So this is another bathroom right here, and this is a lot of art that I've had on the wall and no one bought it, so I'm kind of just storing it here. This is my studio, and this was the first thing I did when I renovated the space. It had 8-foot drop ceiling. It had this really burly I-beam up there, and I didn't even know it was there. I moved the drop ceiling. I looked up there, but I never saw it. And that's a bonus, so that I can put very heavy pieces of sculpture on it and manipulate them around the room as need be. I have a TIG welder, MIG welder, oxyacetylene, plasma torch. This is a slick roller for making rounds out of sheet metal or even tubing, not tubing solid, whatever, up to 1/2 inch thick. This is a really nice table saw. This is a slider. I made the cabinets that are in the bar, and I periodically make frames for people or myself. And it's kind of a mess, but it's a lot better than it was. When I was working on the rest of the space, everything just ended up piled up in here, and I couldn't be efficient doing anything. And now we're back to the beginning.
Wow. Pretty neat. Awesome. So, Jeff, I forgot some of my stuff in the back area, okay. So I guess we'll go around the hallway.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Which sounds good.
Okay.